Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I thought I would sit down and do another video for you guys and gals. Let me get some of my water first. My radio voice going on, let's talk about this. Now when I make this statement, I am not shaming people for drinking alcohol. Okay, I choose to not drink. Some of my best friends drink. I hang out with them and they drink. I don't drink. Not had a drop in years. And I have no desire to. So I'm a little biased. I do very much dislike alcohol for a lot of reasons. I've seen a lot of human suffering from it. I think it's one of the most horrible things on the face of the earth, my opinion. But let's set the opinion aside. So I do want to admit that bias. So that we're clear on that, I'm admitting my personal bias in this topic. But when we talk about it objectively, medical experts, doctors, researchers, organizations around the world tell you there is no safe amount. All of it, there's no amount that's safe to drink. It will harm your health potentially at even the lowest doses of moderation imaginable. We need to be clear on that. And the issue is it is toxic to the body. Any way you break it down. You can love to drink. You could be someone who brews beer or wine or whatever yourself that you love making, love manufacturing, but you have to admit it is literally a poison. Okay? The ethanol in it is poisonous to humans, it's poisonous to your liver, it's poisonous to your system. Now, we eat poisons every day. Okay, we do have a liver to help with these things. So I'm not saying that eating any amount of something poisonous is by itself going to hurt you. I'm saying it's going to put a load on your body. And it's going to limit what else you can do. So this topic comes up and you see people all in the fitness world. I'm scared of GMOs. I'm scared of pesticides in food. Okay, so if your diet is 100% perfect, that might be the last thing you might start asking, should I be concerned with? And I want to keep in mind, for you to get that far down the chain, your diet better be pretty immaculate, because that's really low down the list of priorities. You can disagree all you want, the data shows it. Even when people are like, but there's data on pesticides, it's not from the food, it's the people spraying it in the field. They're exposed to thousands times more than you are. And yes, there are issues with endocrine systems and other things, that's there. The FDA also regulates in America the amount that can be in your foods, and therein lay the point. When you start looking at that, just like everything else, you should be able to estimate how much load is being put on your liver and how many toxins are going into your body. It's not an ambiguous thing. In other words, there's a certain amount of toxicity to X drop or nanograms of whatever pesticide, just like there is for alcohol. I can almost assure you, this is why I say that people doing this are absurd, who drink at all. Like why drink in moderation? Okay, but then you're going to worry about, well, these GMOs, all this pesticide, they put all this in. Okay. Why are you worrying about that when you're drinking? It's ludicrous. Because the amount of toxicity you're getting from one drink a week, like one shot of whiskey, one beer, one glass of wine, that toxicity you're getting from that one drink a week is possibly 1,000 times higher than you could ever get from any amount of the pesticides found in foods in America. Okay? Not saying that pesticides aren't there and there isn't a load, but objectively speaking, alcohol is literally the single most poisonous thing and the largest source of toxins that we as a society consume. It is by an enormous, absolutely enormous margin. So do you see where I'm going with this? I'm pointing out that it's absurd and hypocritical, and maybe it's because people aren't thinking about it. But again, if you're going to actually pretend to care about fitness and health, why does people who choose to drink a little bit of alcohol at all, any amount, start worrying about something less poisonous and literally make posts about it? They make videos about it, memes about it. They want to talk about it, warn people. They want to check stuff in the store to make sure. But you're already consuming something dramatically more poisonous. And even in moderation. And I would say if you're worried about, well, maybe I could reduce the load by eating less of that, but it's not. You could just take one less sip of your wine per month, and it will more than offset all of that. Now you can eat as many pesticides as you want, and your toxic load will probably still be lower. Is that what people don't seem to grasp that? You know, and that's kind of my thing. This is an example of stepping over dollars to pick up dimes. It's literally like the people who they don't even follow a basic training routine. They're not doing their basic exercises. They don't have structure. They don't train correctly. They don't train hard, who then suddenly jump up and start worrying about, do I need this booty band? Do I need this hip circle to help me grow glutes? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe you should start with some sort of squats and hip hinges. Why don't you get strong at squats and leg presses and deadlifts or Romanian deadlifts or good? Why don't you get really strong at those things before you start worrying about this hip circle? Like, oh, because it might help. No, it actually won't. But that's besides the point. The hip circles and the booty bands don't actually help recruit your glutes at all. For those who are unaware, they don't actually do that. What you're feeling is not your glute recruiting. It's a scam. But even if it had some mild benefit, I would say the same thing. Well, why aren't you sorting the big stuff? Like, why are you worrying about little tiny things of possibly zero to minute amounts of importance? That would be where the pesticides would probably be. Minimal to minute to zero, but it might be minute. You could, in theory, get enough. It could be harmful. But why aren't you worrying about the big stuff? And it would be the same in your training, right? Most people who are serious about training, they would laugh at that. They'd be like, why don't you go get in the squat rack? Maybe you should try some leg presses. Maybe you should do them for a full range of motion. Maybe you should get stronger at them before you worry about the booty band. You see where we're going? We would make fun of those people, but they're not made fun of in fitness circles. I see that, and people are like, I'm worried about even the carnivore people. You see a lot of them drink, and it's like the absurdity. You're worried about anti-nutrients in plants, which you shouldn't be to any great extent. You're worried about that, but you drink whiskey. Do people not understand the absurdity? Okay? They don't understand the absurdity. Let me put in a better example people will get quantitatively. Let's assume you were just flushing out of your bank account, just disappearing and weren't even thinking about it. It was leaking out, and you ignore that leak from your bank account of $1,000 every month, right? That you don't even, there's no reason physically for it to be coming out. It's just coming out, but you know it's kind of coming out. You see it there, and you ignore that, and then you go over and you panic because the price of your chicken breast went up 1 cent a pound. And then you make a big deal about it, and you go make social media posts and join groups talking about it, and you warn your neighbors about that 1 penny. A difference this week only, maybe, on the price of your chicken. But then there's $1,000 coming out that you're unable to account for every month, and you just ignore that. That would be the equivalent. Literally. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys and gals next time.